Welcome, everybody, to the art world in your hands. Let me see you. Hello. Welcome from this beautiful Google campus. Hands up, who has been here before? I can't see you, but it's... All right, only a few. It's my first time as well. I'm Kelly Max. I'm the new partner with 4Art in the United States. My mission is to bring 4Art to the United States and help with new product innovation here in Switzerland as well. Today, we are presenting to you a new product initiative that we're launching for the art world. And to kick this off, we want to start with a powerful video that talks a little about what 4Art is all about and what our journey has been. So let's start with that, and then we'll get right back to it.
The art world, a multi-billion-dollar testament to human creativity, faces a challenge. Of the 40 million artworks traded yearly, an estimated 30% have unclear origins or are forgeries, risking the value of vital cultural assets and investments. The art world is based on transactions. It's artists, gallerists, middlemen, buyers, authenticators, exhibition organizers, insurance brokers, logistics makers. On the 4Art platform with 4Art smart contracts and DNA fingerprints, the new art world is based on secure transactions. The patented vector technology and layer photography of the 4Art app allows for recording the virtual nanoparticle structure of an artwork on smartphones.
Wait a minute. I know this video. 4Art did work on this a couple of years ago.
What are you talking about? With $20 billion rendered worthless every year, this is more actual than ever.
Yeah, I get it. It's pretty cool to secure artworks with 4Art's tech. But isn't there something new we should talk about?
Of course. We have the whole evening. Let me do my bit. And you go back and support your users. Through the smart contracts of the digital passport, every transaction of an artwork is always transparent, traceable, cost-effective, and secure for everyone. This preserves cultural values. The new way to conduct art business.
This is 4Art. Who knows 4Art? We have investors in the house. We have friends. Even my niece from Germany came here today, which is really exciting. Hi, Lainey. Who knows 4Art? Hands up? Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm your moderator today, and I'm part of the team since 2 months. I'm very excited because I don't know if you know, there is quite a significant market in the art world. It's about a $65 billion market. And in this $65 billion market, annually, 40 million known transactions happen every year. With these 40 million transactions that are sold through auctions and sellers, and that's only the ones that we know. When you think about all the art sales that happens that we don't know, 30% of those are assumed to be counterfeits and fraudulent due to unknown origins and being counterfeits. And 4Art went on a mission many years ago to solve that problem and to bring authenticity through nanoparticle fingerprints to the art world. But there's also another problem, which is that the art world, as you can see in this video, has very many different players in the game, and you can't just solve it by going to the artist or to the buyer, to the collector, to the auctioneer. It's a very, very fragmented world. And so today, we're really excited to introduce a new product initiative that not only will change the way the art world works from our perspective, but also sets 4Art up for a new era that is very exciting and innovative. And I want to introduce with this statement Kai Zay, who is the CEO of 4Art Holding. And I welcome you to the stage. Kai, it's a long stairs down.
Longer than I thought.
Please welcome Kai to showcase the new product.
Thank you, man.
Here.
Great. Oh, yeah, without that, you need to click for me. Great. Thank you all for coming here. It's a pleasure, actually, to present you tonight a wonderful initiative we're doing. And I think this was the missing link. And it's the right time to do that. So basically, our origin, as already heard from Kelly, is that we are securing values. We're securing IPs for artists. And because we're doing that since 2018, we know all the market players somehow, because we have touch points everywhere with our current technology. However, what we learned is there is a lot of challenges for each of them. Everybody has its own challenge, but in the end, it's one root cause, or let's say a couple of root causes. And therefore, we want to show you today some challenges. The artist challenge is actually the one which is the creator, right? So not the buyer, not the seller. And the artist has actually the following problem nowadays. He's actually in a constant, I would say, competition with influencers, because how do we do nowadays business? We make marketing through social media. And the problem with social media is that influencers, in order to be really successful, they need to do 30 to 60 bits a week. So an artist who concentrates on doing a painting like Nico Mars is doing outside, does it maybe in a couple of hours, or maybe in a couple of days, or weeks, or sometimes even months. How will he produce in competition with an influencer some appearance on the market? It's actually a war of he's fighting every day. And therefore, social media networks, they say content, content, content as much as possible. And even more important, consume fast, very fast. I mean, who doesn't know, right? Like cluck, it's good, it's not so good, it's good, it's got so good. So the reality is the networks need to do it like that because they will earn by having the ad revenue. As faster you slide, as more ads you will see in the end, means it increases their income. So this is the basic strategy. And this is the business model. And it doesn't really feature the creators amongst us. What does this mean is, what you see here is a text. Can you read that text? Come on, just concentrate on the words. What you see here is the actual speed of how people do actually consume the social media content. It's around 1.7 to 3 seconds before you make a judgment whether this is a relevant content for me or not. So if you have artists, you spend like a couple of months, then you're presenting what you did, and you show it proudly on Instagram or any other platform, doesn't really matter. Everybody has the same problem. He needs to overcome that challenge that has a very low quality engagement. So this low quality engagement means, yeah, you engage with it, but only quickly. But if I produced it a month and in 3 seconds it's gone, it's not really so nice, at least for the artist. And it's not good for his business because he cannot grow along with that. So the question is, how can I compete and grow in value? As an artist, as a creator, how can I use that platform that is existing everywhere, or those platforms? There's hundreds actually. And where and who are my buyers or sellers? Actually, it's vice versa. And how can I increase visibility and the engagement with myself as an artist or creator? And that's really the basic challenge of an artist nowadays. Then we have the buyers. There's a buyer challenge as well. Yeah, we know that. Gallerists, they're selling. With COVID, this really did hit the art market pretty hard. And the buyer challenge is that we have 1.5 to 2 million direct art sellers. This is not the gallerists, that's actually everybody who sells art somehow. And we have 15 to 100,000 professional commercial art sellers. And this means, in the end, that we have a very, very fragmented market. It's very intransparent. We have a local, probably you know somebody who sells art if you are in art, then you will trust this person that he has the good artwork for you. But do you know what somebody's selling in Vietnam or anywhere else? And this is exactly the challenge we have. We have a lack of knowledge of where is something available if I want to buy it. So the next thing is, even so I would know it, is it a good investment if I buy something, right? I like it. I mean, basically, I'm by heart, I'm not a real art buyer for investment. I buy it if I like it, right? So that's the first challenge. And many people do it like that, but I don't know whether it's a good investment. And because this information is not available for me, and actually it's not available for most of the people. Professionals who do that every day, they know. But the others, hardly not. And the next question is, we already hear that, probably most people know it, is it authentic? Authentic doesn't mean only, oh, is it an original? It also means, yeah, it's the proof of chain. Like an artwork, if you invest some money, if it's 5,000 euros, 10,000 euros, it's only worth it if you have a chain of in the providence who makes sure, okay, this is the creator, these are the owners, this is where it was displayed, and this is how it grows and keeps value. So even after buying it, it's super important as a buyer to keep that proof intact. Otherwise, maybe 20 years later, you have that gap, and this gap will lower the price or the value of your artwork. Then we have the general community challenge. What means a community challenge is actually all of us. Everybody who's interested in art. This is the community. It's not a social platform thing, it's actually us. And all market players do actually have the point that content information is highly fragmented. We already hear that, but it means it's everywhere, everywhere. So, and I don't know where to look up. So we have, for example, we have some Warhols in Tuttlingen in our other office, and I wouldn't know where I could buy one. And I hear a lot about that. So it's pretty difficult. You know probably one, hey, do you know somebody who knows somebody? But the reality is that the content and information is so highly fragmented that it's very hard to find. That it's extremely hard to be seen and actually to sell and buy hardware, art or any content. So if I'm an artist, like we already heard before, and I have to compete against some really cool influencers, I'm not saying they're not cool. I'm just saying it's very hard for somebody earning his money with something different to compete on a marketing edge on them. And how can I be seen and how can I sell? And then is the next point. How do I know if somebody who likes my content piece is actually a buyer or a seller, or if somebody looks out, is it a good seller? Is it a good art? Is it just made up? Whatever. So this is actually missing right now today. And we have a lack of tools for trusted communication, for connection, for transactions. So there are here and there some shops. Total, there are around 100 platforms right now on the market who try to sell art, more or less successful, but it's always a small fraction of what is actually available. And that's why it's very hard for somebody going to those platforms knowing this is now, is this now the piece? And then you're walking out, see a gallery, hey, I see that artist has another piece over there. So it's very hard to actually overcome that. And if I am finding somebody online somewhere, how do I make that transaction? If you go back to that Vietnamese artist, how do I tell him, hey, by the way, send it over to Switzerland? It's like, whoo, that's a big challenge nowadays. And it's hard because there is no infrastructure. You either are professional, then you have it. If you're not, you don't get it. So, which leads us to the point, why do we want to have now a solution? I mean, we are since 2018 on the market, yes, but we thought we need to solve this authentication issue. You know, there's a lot of money getting lost every year. It continues. But why do we want to now present you a new solution? And the reason is very simple. First of all, we all know what COVID did to all of us. It actually increased the acceptance for digital transactions worldwide dramatically. People started buying actually everything online, even toilet paper, if it's not available in the supermarket. But even nowadays, people change their habit, but they keep it. It's a very, very high rate. And artificial intelligence services, they have been existing since 15 years. Most of the people just didn't know about it. Like ChatGPT did something. Even Gemini was available, but not many people knew about it. So it's just like suddenly we see AI on a different level, but a side effect is that it's now easily available, even for companies, and it's scalable. Because it's not enough, oh yeah, give me my recipe, and then it takes 5 seconds. If you want to do a business, you need to have very, very quick response times. And that's not what you have in experience right now in many chatbots, for example. So Google, for example, I will talk about that later, is strong on that. And yeah, data privacy. Biggest discussion on AI is, I think, data privacy, I guess. Artists talk about that. Of course, any creator talks about it, but also users, right? Why do they know everything I know, blah, blah. So this is quite a difficulty. So we need to have the option to use AI keeping data privacy. And this is the reason why we actually, you still hear me? Oh, there you go. Yeah, you want to have the mic? So this is the reason why we've been teaming up with Google and using their powerful platform Gemini. Because this is not only very powerful, but it's very, very precise on the needs we have. It's not just one big API like others do. You have a real wide experience network of services and powerful, and even more important, we have millions of companies using Google, and they do actually use Google on a data privacy basis all the time. You know, all those stock-listed companies, they need to store their data, and there's a strong, how do you say, standard for that, and I think our colleagues from Google will say something to that later on. So, this is now the point where I want to say, this is why we are introducing together today Mosaix. We think Mosaix is the revolutionary next step for the art industry to really feature each stakeholder's needs and also to give them the freedom to actually decide what is happening. And therefore, the new home of art, in our belief, looks like this. We make sure it's fresh, it's modern, it has all the functionality it needs to have. And we will show you now a little bit about what we believe an artist will use our platform to present himself. Because the big difference is we are not presenting the artist, it's his art. So he should do it in the style he thinks is right. So, oh yeah, totally forget there's more than an artist, right? So we have the collectors, we have the galleries, the enthusiasts, we have the insurance brokers, we have all the, even influencers. They are doing art up to a certain extent as well. It's quite difficult to make such an engaging platform content. And this is the reason why you can explore, you can network, you can share, you can grow, you can interact, and you can do secure transaction on our platform. You know, this is our heritage, and we make sure it's easy to use for everybody. So, and all of that, as already discussed, powered by Gemini. We will talk about what it does a little bit. I don't want to make a tech exploration here later on, but a little bit we dive in, at least one slide, so you get a feeling for it. And let me show you now what we think artists will do.
Hi, my name is Antonio Signorini. I'm an artist and Italian, of course, you can tell from my accent. I dedicated my whole life to my art, to my work, and I hope and wish to be able to carry on for the rest of my life. I'm a sculptor mainly. I painting too.
So, this is the way how we present things. And what we do differently to others is that we give every artist, every card, its place. Sounds stupidly simple, but it's not what you're actually experiencing. It's like, the experience is like you slide cards. You have backsides of cards. It's very simple. Everybody will immediately understand it. Even people nothing to do with tech will understand, okay, that's a card. And we do art bits, we do art cards, and we arrange it all in a simple manner. Everybody knows how social media should work, right? So we don't try to reinvent the wheel here. We need to make sure it's easy and doesn't distract from the art. And you remember about when I said about the reading speed? This is actually 300 to 400 times slower than what you usually do. And it's just because it's not a scroll view. It's very simple. But at the same time, it still keeps you focused and you have still all your tools on the full screen something. So this is the approach how we do actually think the UI now. This version is already in beta test for quite a while. We had a lot of iterations. We did actually the first version last year in spring was the very first version. And this is a version which is now, it's actually yesterday evening's version, promised. We did a lot of stuff. Now I want to talk a little bit of what we do, right? So we have all the classic things. You can like your content, obviously, right? You can share your content. You can go into a creator chat. That's pretty cool. You have a direct connect to your creator. So if an artist actually has a chat, he can do it public, like a comment. Everybody knows what comments are. But you can also have private messaging with him if he enables it. He doesn't need to. Everybody decides himself how he's using the platform. And yeah, that's just standard as it should be. And then in the lower area, you have a classic bar where you do actually have a lot of stuff you can do. Oh, by the way, you can also display for an artwork, for this NFT, you can display the state, like valuation, information, and so on. And in the lower part, you have the streams. So the card streams here, that's just yesterday's version. They're actually dynamically created for you. These are your personal selections. And the other ones are actually powered, I would call it AI. There's much more than just AI. You don't tell somebody. So we have a very, very system which does give us curated content for each of your needs. And this is what Gemini does. It curates the content, means like it gives us all the, let's say, the power we couldn't do. I'm sure you remember when you went to YouTube earlier days. They're getting powered, of course, also by Gemini nowadays. But if you go there, they know what you already had to look for, right? So and then you get always the same, the big bubble. And the big bubble is a problem for art, because you don't want to see always the same kind of looking artworks. Usually, you want to have something that fits together. Maybe you want to have a sculpture, and you want to see maybe some Warhol, or maybe some other classic art as well. And this is what you can achieve if you train an AI on what is possible. But besides that, we have also the analysis of trends right now, not only on our platform, on the world market. And this is the reason why we teamed up with Google, is because they are the one who know how the world goes in data, and that's why we use them. And yes, we use it to support content creation. So it's very important. There are artists who are doing AI art, get that. But we think AI is a help for somebody. Like a very good artist is not necessarily a good description writer for his art, or doesn't necessarily write a good biography. Most of them nowadays, they hop on any chatbot and like, hey, can you give me some better text than I was just writing? And we do that with a professional dedication. Means like we tell them, okay, this is what you get out of the platform already. You don't need to go somewhere else, and you can present it right away. So Mosaix, I think it's the very next step to go in the future. We are not saying this is the solution and that's it. No, no, no. We think this is what the market will look like in the future. We need to go away from the fast consume of any content. This is far too valuable. We have a cultural heritage to protect. We have values to protect. And for this, we need to give everybody who loves art a platform that works for artists and for art lovers. Yeah, and therefore, I can't wait to give it all into your hands. And there is Kelly. Oh, I don't want to do your job. I just took him away his moderation job.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Kai.
Thank you.
Give a round of applause.
See you later.
Awesome. Really, really fascinating. I know that we're going to come with the tough questions to you, I promise, and I wrote some down, so you can shoot as well later. But thank you very much, Kai. I think it's very exciting. I've seen what's been happening behind the scenes and learned about the tech. And on the front, it looks very much, similar like a social network. But on the inside, it's pretty magical. So let's hear from... Do I see you up there? Let's hear from Google themselves. Thank you so much for this partnership. Thank you for letting us host here today. How are the seats? Comfortable? Yeah? It's pretty cool. So welcome Francesco and Marcel to the stage. and take it away.
Two things, there you go. Thank you. Right. Marcel, möchtest du anfangen? Denkst du? Let's go.
Ja. Guten Abend. Bonsoir. Buonasera. Good evening.
That's
So-
about it, right?
Huh?
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Apero. No. Great to have you here. Welcome to the Google campus here on Europale. And for us, it's today a premiere as well. Hopefully not the dernier as well.
Hope
but
not,
Let's see. Depends on how
Let's
this
see.
goes. So actually, we thought on what could we actually do when Kai approached us and say, hey, could we actually host, or be the host for this launch event? I said, sure, of course. And then he asked, can you also talk, a couple of minutes to the audience? And by the way, who is a tech person? There is a few.
Oh, Kai? Kai
How's
said
it
there are no tech person in the
No
room.
tech persons.
Come on. We should change our presentation now. There are.
That's why I brought paper. We thought, well, normally I talk about Kubernetes or large language models and those sort of things, right? They said, nah, that's the wrong thing. So we said, okay, how about we do something different? And we thought about there's lots of artists or art lovers, enthusiasts here in the room. How could we derive maybe the hypothesis on that the two distinct disciplines of technology, IT, computers, and the whole artistic world aren't so different? And actually, we thought that our hypothesis, we have 4 categories that we want to try. How would an artist and maybe a Googler or a technologist look at these sort of things? Shall we start?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a little bit of role play what we're going to do right now. Marcel is going to be the artist, and I'm going to be the Google part, so the Googler, and we'll try to, go through those 4 themes and topics. We'll then each other, explore the way or present the view we see on that topic, and then I'll talk about a little bit, try to put some synergies here in the room, and let's see if it works. Shall we start? First category?
Fall in. Are you in as well? Yeah.
Good. Energy in the room.
Observation and interpretation is our first one. We thought, okay. So I'm standing in front of the picture. Artists are likely keen to observe their surroundings, the world, right? Capturing nuances of light, emotion, and form. And they notice likely details, patterns, and light that others might miss. They are inspired, hopefully, or likely by their surroundings, and drive associations for their artwork. And probably they interpret those things on their chosen medium, like here on this canvas, imbuing them with their personal meaning and interpretation on that. So maybe think of Monet capturing the fleeting light on water lilies, or something like Van Gogh expressing the intensity of the night sky.
Right. And we as Googlers, we do observe as well. But we kind of observe the world in a different way. We observe the world in a digital form. Right? That's why we do. That's what we do. We observe the digital world. We observe the vast amount of data to actually understand human behavior, or more importantly, human needs. These interpretations then obviously lead to the shaping on how we interact with information, obviously, with data and technology. Massive data sets today are actually, as you know, they are analyzed by large language models, okay? And those large language models, they learn, okay? They observe, okay? And I can literally see my speaker notes are gone here. Sorry for that. Can you make it? Sorry, this is live on stage. Okay, a little bit more, thank you. Okay. Okay, now it's good. Perfect. Thank you very much. So, as I said, I was talking about algorithms observing data, observing vast amount of data to recognize patterns and to recognize trends. This is actually what they do. Look at Google search, for instance. Okay, we try to understand human language. Okay, we hope some of you have used Google search in the past. What we're trying to do is understand what you're actually looking for and give you, with that understanding, give you back the information you hopefully were looking for. Or look at, for instance, Google Photos, okay? Let's take Google Photos as an example. The AI behind Google Photos is able to understand the picture. Is it a house? Is it a landscape? Is it a person? Okay? And with that is able to categorize this photo in a certain way. Or YouTube. Probably everyone has used YouTube in the past. YouTube is able to give you a suggestion on what your next interesting video could be by analyzing the way you interact with YouTube, the type of videos you currently looked at. So if you want to build a synergy, okay, it's all about observation, okay? One, the real world, the other one, the digital world, and basically give a view, an interpretation of the world we're seeing through eyes or, in our case, through data. And with the goal, basically, to give the ultimate expression, okay, a synthesized viewpoint on what the artist or the Google technology in that case was seeing in that moment or in that situation. Next category.
Yeah, let's look into creativity and expression. So probably art is a great way of self-expressing or self-expression for an artist, right? And driven by their creative impulse and experimenting maybe with different techniques, tools, and materials to bring their vision, like here, this sculpture, to life. And at the end, it's how can they translate this artwork into a language to communicate also with the audience?
Absolutely. Creativity and expression. Let's look at it as from a platform perspective. Okay, let's use again some example. And Google in our world, we kind of can be the providers of a platform for creative expression. Look at YouTube, for instance, okay? Everyone can upload YouTube videos, can present himself, can present the art, can present the talents to the basically entire world. Or let's look at Google Art and Culture, a platform which can pave the way to art and culture, basically, and creativity and creative expressions of all around the world. If you haven't seen Google Art and Culture, have a look. It's pretty interesting. Again, and here, creativity, platform, I see this as well as a platform, okay? The synergy. We need platforms. We need mediums. We need those, let's say tools for our creativity, for the expression of our creativity. And the world is changing, okay? Everyone is talking about AI, and AI is going to change the world. Well, AI has been here for, what, 20 years, okay? It's just we're trying, or we're using it much more in a visible form as we have been using it in the last couple of years. YouTube wouldn't exist without AI, and YouTube exists since, what, 15 years or so, okay? By the way, I give you a figure. Every minute that goes by, 500 hours of new YouTube content is uploaded per minute, 24/7. And if you probably know that every minute of YouTube content is scanned to avoid, stuff we don't want to have on YouTube. That's not a bunch of people looking at all the 500 hours of video per minute, right? It's an AI, okay? And that exists since many years. Talking about synergy. So let me make an analogy between technology and new platform. Digital photography, okay? Digital photography has been a new tools to the photographer's toolkit, okay, in the past. So is AI to the creative world. Look at it as a new tool, not as something which is going to harm the art world. Hopefully, look at it as a new tool which can enhance the sharing of art, the enhance creativity, and so on and so forth. And we will close that loop at the end of our presentation.
Thank you. Iteration and refinement. Well, sometimes, it's an artistic thing to do it at once. But very often, it's probably a cycle. Trying out things, and maybe not being fully happy yet, but getting inspired and learning from it and trying something new, trying new materials, experiment with it. And here, of course, it's an architect designing a house, a home, trying out, doing sketches and those sort of things, until, she or he is happy with the results. I can think of sculptors molding clay, painters layering colors, architects or writers revising their drafts. So it's a continuous cycle, and also maybe evolving their artistic handwriting, if you will.
Absolutely. And this is, for us at Google, a critical point, okay? Iteration and refinement is a constant at Google. Every day, every minute, every hour, okay? Our products are evolving, okay? Every day. We're trying at least to make them better every day. Through testing, through feedback, through new vast amount of data, which we can learn from to improve our products. Look at large language model, which are improved every day through new data, which is injected. For us, it's a normal iterative process. It's not just a tool, it's our services as well. Okay, I'm standing here in front of, Kai said, non-technical audience, and this is a thing that I've never done in the past, okay? I'm not in my comfort zone right now, okay? Usually I would throw technical stuff at you and speak about Kubernetes and large language model and whatever, TPU and CPUs, and I'm trying to not to fall into my comfort zone and speaking in super technical term, okay? So for me, it's an evolvement as well today. For me, it's a development as well today, which I hopefully will take for my next presentation. Maybe talking a little bit about art and not technology in future. But again, this is a development for me. And if we want to talk about synergy as well, I think artists, Google and Googlers, they really understand that process. Well, at least this is my interpretation of it. They understand the importance of continuous learning, new technique, new styles, redeveloping themselves every day. Basically to achieve what? To achieve excitement, to achieve the ultimate perfection, I would say. And I think those endeavors and those paths are very parallel here on the art side and on the technology side. Last point, mate.
Sure.
We have 6 minutes and 40 seconds.
The final of our 4 points is all about connection and communication. And here it's more on the musical or the theater actors, but it's about a way on connecting with the audience and break down any language barriers, right? It's about this having unique stories and emotions created regardless of culture and other topics, I think, but still being able to transport something meaningful. That's, I think, what we thought would be very much the core of any product that has an artistic thing, in exploring universal themes and celebrating diversity, and while still preserving traditions and fostering a dialogue where art can bridge gaps and create shared experiences that transcend boundaries.
Oh, yeah, that was a complicated word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, my favorite topic, connection and communication, because basically, look, let me start maybe from a different angle. Our mission, okay, hasn't changed since 25 years plus. Okay, we were founded in 97, something like that, 97, 98, and we had one mission since day one. And that mission is to organize the world's information, make them universally accessible and useful. This is all about communication. This is all about connection, okay? Our platforms are meant to connect people. Our platforms are meant for communication. Our platforms are meant to connect people to information, to technology. Our tools are here to facilitate communication. I mean, think about Google Meet, for instance. Or think about Google Translate, which is meant to break down barriers of language issues or language barriers. And here, me making, again, a synergy between art and technology, how we see it is that art is also meant to break down barrier. Art is also meant to build bridges. Art is also meant to close gaps, okay? To kind of humanize technology in a sense as well, right? And to inspire new ways of thinking. Absolutely new ways of thinking. And here again, a synergy between art, the art world, and the technology world. And let's now be honest, we've lied to you, okay, for the whole presentation. We said, we came up with these ideas and how we should, get art and technology together and so on and so forth. Actually, AI told us to do so because we had no idea on what to present, okay? We were sitting in a room last week, scratching our head and say, what the hell are we going to present next week? No idea. We were not inspired at all, okay? So we did something which we, in our world, usually do. We ask Gemini, okay? And we ask Gemini with the prompt like, hey, we're two stupid techies on stage presenting to an audience which is, Kai, not technical, okay? And it's an audience of art lover. What would you do? And what we've just told you tonight is exactly what AI told you to say on stage. That's it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Frightening?
Yeah, it's frightening, is it? I mean, we don't know. You will give us feedback, hopefully, afterward, if this worked or not. But I'm honest, I wouldn't have made this presentation without AI input. Honestly not. I wouldn't had the idea to build those synergies, those bridges, put a parallel picture between art and technology. I wouldn't have had this idea. And this is how our world changed, right? At least our world changed massively since the vast or the massive usage of AI, or Gen AI in this case.
Maybe that's a segue, Franci, to briefly talk about an important topic on this matter.
Wait a minute. Have you seen the pictures? Okay? None of this picture is real. None of it. Those are not real photos. None of it. This is not real. These are not real. These are not real. It's all AI generated. We asked Gemini to generate a picture of an artist, a sculpture thingy here, and then someone drawing a new technical product or new hardware product in this case. These are all, none of this photo is real, okay? So just to give you a feeling how far we've got, and I think those are super realistic. If I would have told you, maybe these one not so much, okay? But if I would have told you that this is not a real picture, you wouldn't have believed it. This person doesn't exist, and this person doesn't exist either. You have an important message, do you, in the AI world?
Yeah, trustworthiness and responsible use of AI is crucial, right? How can you also make sure that those pictures are watermarked with a what we call synth ID, so you can always guarantee or make sure, even if you copy and forward it, that what was the origin. This becomes an important matter of the future, even if you photographed it or you've taken it by IT. Most of you use probably Google consumer services, right? Google Search, Maps, these sort of things. You did? Okay, good. Now, who of you has used Google Cloud? Well, for art. Some of you.
We can't see it because of the light, but I saw some hands up there. Yeah.
Now, the big difference is when you hear Google, it's a free service, consumer service, which is financed by our ad side of things. When we talk about Google Cloud, which is the foundation for our technologies, it's a completely different ballgame. While we use some of our innovations and technologies to empower our companies like for art, it's totally secure. And this is important because the data is your data and it's managed and owned by you and only by you. We are not going to take it for learning, for large language models, or for anything else. Your data is secure, right? Sometimes people are confusing free services and insecurity. It's all about security, and we invest a lot of money on making sure it is. And there's lots of commitments and contractual obligations that we actually take. Even on the LLM side of things, so we talked about Gemini, we indemnify our partners that the content coming out is actually accurate, which means, we stand by you in legal disputes. If we look at that, this is made sure because security is important. We're not doing this by chance as an afterthought, but if you build a house, right? You have to think advance. How do you protect it? Where is the basement, etc. And not just after you've built it, you figure out, oh, I need a protective basement or whatever it is. So at the very beginning, you think about threat vectors and these sort of things to make powerful countermeasures, and then also make sure it's secure by default, which means you don't have to earn a university degree to understand how to protect. You simply close the door and lock it, right? This is the way it is. It's always locked. And then if you start to deploy things like for our technologies, make sure it stays secure while we go. So you, as the consumers of that service, can rest assured it's safe and secure. And don't believe us, but believe external auditors and all those certifications that make sure the platform is complying not only with the regulations, but is also hopefully a trustworthy foundation to allow you to concentrate on your art inspirations and not having to worry that someone is stealing or not paying you for what you deserve. So that was a little bit of it. So that brings us to the end.
To the end, with 54 seconds left. That has never happened to me that I was on, or that we were on point. But that means we're talking about stuff we have no idea of. Okay, is that, or is it? Oh, maybe, I don't know. But look, it has been a pleasure to be here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for finding the way to our home. This picture. The prompt was make a picture, what was it? Make a picture of an artist in front of a monument of my favorite city. And my favorite city is...
Bern.
No, that's not Bern.
No.
I'm sorry.
Okay. No.
Well, do we have Bern? No, I don't think so. Okay. Again, this is not a real picture. This woman does not exist. And she has never done a Google sculpture in front of the Colosseum. Thank you very much. I hope it was entertainment.
Thank you. Stay safe. Thank you, Francesco. Thank you, Marcel. Thank you for giving this beautiful presentation.
Thank you for the...
You guys are still awake? Thank
Hope
you.
so. Thank
Yeah.
you, mate.
Thanks. Okay. I want to do something really quick. We're almost through, but have you looked to the left? Left. Right, up, down. Let's do that. Shake your head a little bit. You know, you can get a little bit. Here, who's to the left of you? Do you know these people? Okay, my sisters are doing it. That's good. To the right, behind you. That's good for networking, because after this, we're going to have champagne and bubbles. We're going to have some food. So, you know, it's easier to network that way. All right. Now, we want to go around the world. We have shared with multiple artists. We have shared Mosaix, the vision of Mosaix, and that we're communicating this initiative to the world, to you today first, and then soon to the world. With this, we have 4 artists around the world, and we want to bring them in today live to you. I hope this works. And we have Miami, with Paris, Berlin, Mexico City, some people from New York. And these are friends and also artists that we know from our network. And we want to hear what they have to say. Because at the end, for them, it's really important that they find visibility, they find value, they can sell more, they grow in value. So, oops, can we go to Google Meet? Milo? Fantastic. That's Milo. And then I would like to, Z, are you there? Maybe you have to unmute.
I'm here.
Ah, fantastic. Hi Z, I have to look here, it's a little weird. But hi Z, nice to see you. Welcome to the stage. You have a wonderful crowd in front of you. This is artist Z Hovak. She's live from Los Angeles. It's pretty early there for her right now. And Z, tell us a little about yourself, who you are, and say hi to the crowd.
Hey guys, making an artist wake up this early in the morning is just a special power, I gotta say that. Z Hovak from August. I call myself a quantum pop artist because I use quantum physics, mathematics, numerology in creating all my work. My work is based on a character that is behind me called C1P, which is the spirit of my dog. I met in meditation, reincarnated as a mushroom.
You look fabulous. Z, when you heard about everything about Mosaix, and we talked about this before a little bit, and you had a lot of questions, like as an artist, that is, I know how much you hustle. I can see it every time we see each other, and it's not easy. I also know the struggles that you're going through. How do you think Mosaix can help you and change your life? And what is your feeling, your inner gut, telling you right now about a solution that we're building?
I was thinking about this morning, like the days of like us as artists cutting our ears and becoming famous are just absolutely over. It's what someone said earlier from Gemini, you know, the market is changing, everything is changing. So I think it's, in order to be successful, to live your legacy, it's important to like partner with pioneering companies like you guys. Obviously, I'm a female artist in a very male-dominated art world, along with tech coming in, AI coming in. So I'm super excited, and I love everything you guys are doing, and it's gonna like help so many of us to, you know, connect with the right people to not only like help us sell, but just like change the art market and disrupt it in a cool way.
Awesome. And then lastly, Z, because you're amazing, you don't see the people. Unfortunately, we couldn't show you because of GDPR and data privacy, which kind of sucks. Sorry. But I wanted her to see you guys as well. But you don't see all these lovely people. But would you like to send a message? Would you like to share anything with us from Los Angeles?
Yeah, I mean, I am a multimedia artist. I have like 1,000 square foot studio in Los Angeles. In one corner, I create physical art and commissions. The other corner, I do my digital and do a lot of licensing work and work with incredible companies. The other corner is, you know, trying to start a podcast. The other corner is merchandise. So I wanted to invite everyone to come to my studio. I fight for animal
Everybody
rights.
fly to LA. Awesome. So, thank you, Z. Thank you so much. An applause for Z. Thank you for getting up early for us. Really appreciate it. And next, we're going to go, not directly Paris, but he spends a lot of time in Paris. He's in Bordeaux, France right now. Sammy, this is your cue to unmute and make some noise. And then you should show up.
Hello everyone. Hello.
Ah, fantastic. Sammy, welcome. How are you?
Good. Thank you. How about you?
Fantastic. Sammy, thank you so much for joining from France. Another same question. Introduce yourself and then share a little bit about what you think Mosaix can do for you. I know also amazing artists, also very hard to get out in front of people. How did the presentation feel for you? And we talked about it before also a little bit. We put you a little bit into the cold water. So give it away.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm a pop art artist based in Bordeaux, in France. I'm doing my art like kind of homage to common people, to anyone. I imagine people, by the way, and celebrities also. I'm using a lot of colors. I make my own, working in physical and digital art. I'm working on both. This canvas behind me, you can see here, is a kind of collaboration with famous artist called Her, Gabriella Wilson. I made it digitally first and then replicated it on the canvas. Basically this is my work, limited to 7 colors only on each portrait. I'm doing basically portraits.
Awesome. And Sammy, when you think about Mosaix, a new platform that helps you get more visibility on your work, what do you think about that?
This is just crazy. It comes at one point because I was waiting for a platform like this one, because I'm just tired, to be honest, of Instagram, TikTok, all these kind of platforms. We are not visible enough as artists on these platforms, and it's becoming harder and harder to grow and to keep our community on these platforms. So Mosaix sounds pretty cool, and I love what you presented about it. It's I think it's a big yes.
Awesome. Sammy, last words. I'm sure everybody can also go to Bordeaux. It's not that far. But Sammy, any last message to our friends here?
Yeah, what I have like a message, like at Z, if you or you're around in Bordeaux, just give me a message or call me, and we can hang out in there and meet and talk about art. I would be honored to do it.
Fantastic. Can we get a goodbye in French?
Au revoir.
Thank you. Thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Sammy. Fantastic. Next, we're going to go to Miami. Miami's different. It's not an artist. It's a producer of art events, galleries. If you heard of Bit Basel, it's the Web3 and the more modern focus of Art Basel, but moving into a global powerhouse to represent artists across all mediums. And Scott, if you could unmute and say something to trigger the mic, that would be fantastic. Oh, that's not Miami. Come on.
Miami.
Awesome. Hi, Scott. Welcome. Good to see you. Very big week coming up. Art Week, Art Basel in Miami is coming up first week of December. Scott is very, very busy right now. They take over the entire Sagamore Hotel. There's going to be, we have the Michelangelo David head there in pure silver from the Marinelli foundry. There's a lot happening, actually. But Scott, let's talk about Mosaix. What does it do to you as a producer of events, selecting the right artists, finding the right artists to showcase? How did it hit you, and what do you think Mosaix can do for your world?
I mean, coming from both an art and a technology world, I think just creating another platform where artists can connect and where collectors can connect digitally is a plus for everyone. I mean, we talk a lot about how we need to introduce artists to emerging technologies, but what we've really realized is how we as technologists need to introduce ourselves, and we need the artists to help tell our story about how not just applications, but emerging technologies like AI and blockchain and mixed realities are really making a whole impact on the world. Artists are really the first ones to adopt a lot of these new technologies. So I see Mosaix as kind of a portal into bringing this art and tech nexus to the masses.
Awesome. Scott, any more messages that you have to the audience other than inviting them to Miami? I know you are all invited to Miami. I can assure you of that. Any other message, Scott?
I mean, it's the largest art week in the world. There will be 500,000 people down here in Miami, but come to Miami anytime. We like to think of ourselves as the art and tech, creative tech capital of the world, but maybe because we're talking to a European audience, we'll keep it just to the Western Hemisphere for now. But there really is that whole collision coming on down here. Please come for Miami Art Week. Bit Basel's taking over 7 days, but Miami is always a good idea. So hope to see you down here soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott. And we're looking forward. I'm going. Please reach out if you're going. We'll hook you up in a really good setup over there. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. And then lastly, we're going to go and hear from Alejandro Glatt. He's originally in Mexico City. He flew to New York City, so I got to be honest with you guys. But he originally is from Mexico City. Ale, welcome. Welcome to the show. Same question for you, Ale. Well, introduce yourself. And we're very curious. I'm very curious from you because he's a great thinker and a great talker. And he's also a great artist. He does papaya art, which he will tell you about. But what do you think Mosaix? He's actually in the gallery right now. In which gallery are you in? What are you doing? There's a lot of papayas on the wall, on your neck, and I don't know where else. But take it away.
Yes, so I'm right here at the Time to Be Happy Gallery. It's a dance studio gallery in New York, in Soho, where I had my exhibition. It's been a week-long exhibition. I'm from Mexico City, and we've been having all kinds of collectors, and we had an auction. We had a fruit ceremony where I invite people to connect with fruits through my art. And yeah, it's doing stuff in New York is always very exciting. I'm an artist that mixes technology with art through making my art out of fruit, but then it's using all kinds of technology to make it and expand it around the world. I've been taking my project to more than 35 countries in the last 3 years. I'm full-time. I travel around the world presenting my art, creating. Our workshop is in Mexico City. I'm going to Tulum next week, and it's just non-stop going and traveling and presenting my project. Of course, we're going to be with Scott, Bit Basel in Miami Art Week. You can also find us in there. But yeah, very happy, and thank you so much for inviting us, Kelly.
Absolutely. And maybe talk about Mosaix a little bit. When you think about the app and what we're aiming to build and the vision, how do you think that can help you as an artist?
My biggest challenge is always to find the right collectors, as you were explaining, because I'm all the time creating and all the time spreading the word about what do I do, but it's a big challenge to find exactly who are the specific persons that want my art, because as you said in social media, there's so many content, but if we can directly to connect the right fit for who wants to collect my art, it's something that we all need, and it's something very special and unique, and I'm very looking forward to have a very fun, interactive profile and to connect with more collectors around the world.
Excellent. Goodbye in Spanish.
Hasta luego, amigos. Come to you,
Adios,
come to
muchacho.
Miami, and yes,
Thank you very much.
happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, as you can see, people are very excited about this, and we're very excited about to building it out. Kai, I would like to invite you up to the stage, as we will talk now really quickly about what will happen next. We're gonna throw you this beautiful cube as well for questions. I'm gonna have some tough questions for you, but you can also ask some questions.
But
Kai,
before we
why
do the
don't you go
questions,
into
I
the-
mean, you already
into the
showed it
roadmap?
now twice, so it's okay. Everybody has it. So basically, we are right now in the beta phase. What you've seen is in the middle of beta. We are pretty far, but we learned that it's important to have good content, and we need to make sure the product we are building is really for everybody. We are aiming for not just to have it running, right? That's not important. So we will continue the beta until the end of this year. Then we start with the public beta in Q1. And everybody who's attending today will of course get an invitation as well, because you came here. Obviously, you are number one. And also, of course, artists around the world will continue joining that, because not only they will test it, also they will build up content. And you know, we don't want to have content built today and gone tomorrow. It should really last. And in Q2 2025, we will finally launch to the whole world. So it's summertime. Should be a good time to launch. We should do it before they all go on vacation, I guess. Yeah, you know.
I don't know.
So that's the
always
basic
around.
timing of it, and we are really excited. I mean, to be honest, we've been so excited. We thought, okay, we need to launch it as fast as possible. But the point is, it's so cool. It would be not good enough just doing it right now, because we've talked to, I don't know, 50, 100 people really working on it up to now. This is not enough. You know, we have thousands of people we want to get information from. So this is what we're talking about. Public beta, we have probably around 90 to 100,000 users on it. So it's not a small beta, it's a big beta. Yeah, and now you can raise your questions.
Okay. Well, the first one, I built a social network in the past. I learned a lot about it. And I heard this question quite a bit, which is, why another social network? Do we need another social network? And what do you think the chances are for it to succeed? Because, you know, there's, you know, some threads came out and like, nothing sticks. The big money, Twitter, X now, you know, Instagram, Meta, Google. Like,
Google is our partner. That's
I know.
the problem.
Okay. Caught that one. But no, but why another social network? And where do you think it really differs? And I have my own answer to this, but I'm really curious what you think.
Oh, you have your own answers.
Yeah.
I will wait for you, so I don't need to repeat them.
No, go ahead.
No, it's pretty obvious. I mean, we've talked the whole evening about it, but the real reason for having a network, I mean, yeah, we call it social network because we are a community, we are people. But this project will be the project focusing just on art and its content, and it will be dedicated to that. It sounds stupid, but that's a big difference. You remember when I earlier talked about business models? We don't want to build a business model that jeopardizes that. We will still have a good business model, no worries for the investors here. But the point is, you need to make sure that art is actually protected, the cultural heritage, but also what we shouldn't forget is, you know, at the very beginning, we talked about that old video where the new AI said, I don't know this. This is actually our heritage, right? We protect art, and that means if somebody buys something on this platform, we make sure that it's secured through our technology. So it's not only a social network, it actually is the complete tool belt we already have built in the backside of it. So you can use it, you don't need to do it. You can just upload a video. It's fine for us if an artist does that. But if he really wants to do a deal from Miami to Zurich today, then he could do it by our technology, and the receiver will be sure it's exactly the piece he wanted to buy. And he can have a trace of his provenance throughout the whole process and transaction secure.
Good answer. I like that.
Too
I
long?
think that I really think the key is that the 4Art technology on the back end is there, and that the authentication. So my next question was, is this I made these up. I know the answer, but for you guys, is this an extension of the business, or is it a pivot? What happens to fingerprinting, authentication? You already gave the answer, basically. But does the 4Art, and that's for the investors especially, will the 4Art app stand side by side? And is this a new stream? Is it a new entity? Like, how does this fit into the 4Art ecosystem?
I mean, for sure, it will be a new stream of income, that's for sure. However, what it does, it will actually empower all our tools to work better on the total market. Because as Kelly, at the very beginning, you said that, you know, we have here, there, some stakeholders there, and we have some tools. The point is you need to net them together. Only if you have the full power of the full tool belt, easy to use, not like, oh, professional tool here, professional tool there, then it really will thrive and it will help artists to grow. And this is why it will grow our classic business, when you can say that as well.
Fantastic. Now I'm done.
Now,
what about you? I have to say, I always wanted to speak on this stage only because of this cube.
That's a microphone
not taking
cube.
any, sorry?
It's a microphone cube.
So, I want some questions, I want some hands, and I'm just going to try to throw it and not kill anybody in the process of doing so. So, 1, 2, 3, let's go. I had a feeling. Okay, let's go. You know Steve Aoki, the DJ, he throws cakes? So, let's go. Oh!
Whoa, oh, almost.
Almost. How does it work, by the way? Where do we speak?
Yeah, you just speak. Yeah, just in the black one.
That's
Antonio,
that's the microphone? All
yeah,
right, great.
Yeah.
So, Antonio Vasili, thanks first of all for the presentation. I think this is great. I'm actually with the Bit Basel team too. So anybody interested in Miami Art Week and Art Basel, let me know. 2 questions really. One thing, and I maybe missed it in some parts of this, is the monetization strategy. I mean, it's a social network, but how you envision to monetize it. I see there are some sales figures and projected values and so on. You know, are you trying to communicate the art and the value of the art also as an investment opportunity? So maybe we should just start with this one and then have a follow-up question as well.
That's a lot of questions in one question. Okay, so coming to the last one you said is, yes, there will be also professional services, because what is missing right now is bringing all information together. And one of the reasons why we're doing this now is because we have now the power to actually aggregate the data, consolidate the data, right? And this is what we're using it for, to actually provide you a valuation which is really an actual evaluation, not a bot database and then be interpreted, because now that's what you should continue to do. Because there's a lot of living artists. Not everybody's in a museum or being sold on an auction house. They're also doing great stuff. And some of them are really active, and you need to show that somewhere. So we have popularity trends for art and artists. We also have valuation trends for art itself. So this is the professional part, where everybody can see, hey, that seems to be good. And he can see where this comes from. It's not like we do it and that's it, a kickoff. You know, this is just a first glance, right? There's a trending, but what does it mean, right? There will be a professional service where you can deep analyze this about why it's maybe a good investment, or why this is a good art, and why is it different than others? Because some of us don't know, but it's good to know if you want to invest. So this is definitely one of the monetization streams we have. But the platform is free for artists and everybody who's actually doing something. It's not like a paid abo service or whatever. We actually will earn indirectly from later on. We believe that we will actually be able to sell. And we have a classic infrastructure already, which will be actually growing by that indirectly. So this is the tool that people should use to communicate, grow, and that's indirectly where we will get our money from. It's not a new product we want to sell you tonight. That's important to know.
So people will be able to buy art through the platform.
Yes.
That's the idea as well.
Yes.
Okay.
In the first version you've seen today, you have the creator chat. Next year, after we launch, we will also have a transaction-based system where you can have worldwide sales from around the world, including logistic services. So you can book. The artist can do it. He doesn't need to, by the way. It's not like we're doing it just that way. The artist has a choice. And if a gallerist has the infrastructure, it has already great, like in Paris, wherever, some shops, no problem. But if you want to do it, you can just use our tools and all the suppliers. You know, we have big partners already in the logistic industry. So you can use them or others. So it's very, very, the idea is having a complete ecosystem.
The success from some of the other social media platforms turned kind of sales services makes a lot of sense, kind of that closed loop, full funnel approach, I think makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah. And this is the only thing that's the people are interested, right? If you do art, you want to give it to somebody who appreciates it. But how are you going to give it to them? Having it standing around and then, I don't have space anymore. Biggest issue for artists with bigger works, like Nico probably faces.
All right, great, thank you.
Anybody else? Just throw it to the next.
Up there. That was a basketball move right there.
Wow.
It was a basketball move. Hi, I was just thinking about, are you guys going after Artsy platform or Artspur, for example, who are already offering these kind of services of bringing art pieces to the grand public, as we say, did you have any feedback from big auction houses or big gallerists? Sorry, many questions in one.
2 questions. So first question is, the big difference is we're not starting a selling platform of art. What we are starting is that first of all, you as an artist need to grow. And if you produce like 3 arts a year, people still want to see what you're doing, right? So that's the reason why artists also show some stuff on social media, like, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. We want to have the experience that you can be with the artist. And yes, in the end, we will also sell stuff. But, artists, not we sell it. They sell it directly to the people buying it. But that's not our main focus. It definitely will happen. But, if those platforms use our technology to do a real secure buying transaction, I'm fine with it as well. It's a system everybody can use. But the platform, Mosaix today, this is a home for everybody. It's not like, oh yeah, put your artwork on it, maybe it will be sold, and book some ads and do stuff. We really want to make sure this is a safe space for art.
And bring people together. I think that's the key, right? We want to create this home where everybody can feel comfortable.
I think you had a second question, which I probably forgot now.
Actually, because I see current owner, for example, for the Warhol, MoMA San Francisco. So I was thinking of if you guys were backed or also
if you got feedback, right? Yeah. Indeed, we've talking also to auction houses, but they are really interested more in our technology about having secure digital certificates. So because our tech, we have the patents for it. So yes, as soon as a lot of people will use it, more people will need to use it as well, because they just don't supply you with that tech because you don't ask for it. That's the whole thing. Once you ask, they will give it to you because it's not a cost problem. It's more like do it or don't do it.
The window is also, the goal is also to have galleries, MoMA, Art Basel, to use Mosaix to bring the gallery to the world. Right? Not everybody can go to Miami. Not everybody can go to Paris. There's so many people that don't travel. We're all, I look in the crowd, we're all doing pretty well. We can travel here and there for art lovers. We go to the conferences, but there's a lot of people who are interested that can't. And so what we really want to do is we want to become that window, no matter where you are in the entire value chain of the art process. And I think that's absolutely key. And by having a social network that is focused only on art, it will make people come to that place. If we dilute it with other industries or segments, it's not going to be the same. And that's why we're very, very laser focused.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Well, it's coming from behind now. You better look around, guys.
3 rows down.
Question? Oh, come on. That's lame.
Thank you so much. I love you try to bring transparency in our business, but I have one question. With artists, it's easier. With gallery, premier market, it's easier to bring transparency. But auction house, it's easy too. But there is, I don't know the percentage, but the secondary market, actually even like premier market, big gallery, I work in that world. I had a gallery, I buy art for clients, and even with premier market, like David Zuner, House New Weird, you can get it. I can get it because I'm 20 years in the business, but if you go there, you ask, they won't give you price. So my question is, you want to create this smart contract and this ID. I just find that unless you go to a different world, the existing one, I feel the secondary market, people would, most of these people, I actually wish this will happen, but I think it's very tough because, first of all, in that business is functioning with this secret. You don't know who.
Right.
I don't need to tell you.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I mean, we're working also with secondary market with our tech, right? Because that's the reason why our tech makes a lot of sense. Because once you buy something, you want to probably sell it at a later stage. How you make sure this has the origin really where it is, or how do you conserve the current provenance to that physical piece of artwork? So this is important for the secondary market actually, because if I want to sell something, I need to make sure that the buyer knows and understands, yeah, it's really that piece. So transparency doesn't mean that we publicly announce who's buying what where to what price. But what it definitely does, it makes sure that I know that this is the market trend, right? And if I buy as a professional service, like a gallerist, I see, okay, you know, I'm trying to get this price, but you know what? In Paris and anywhere else, the price is much higher for the same piece. I probably tried to sell to Paris over there, which is probably not what happens, but you have the knowledge which you don't have right now. Even as a professional market seller, if you constantly asking for it, yes, you probably get it, but it's, as you said, art market is a trust market. People don't talk a lot about what they have at home, especially seldomly about what they actually paid. That means nobody really gets a lot of information about it, but information is there. It's not like it's not there. It's not only important that privacy is kept, whatever you do. And what we don't do is we don't take data from one and share it with the others. We have a partner who gives us the technology to get a good feeling about what's the market price. It does need to be precise, and by the way, the person who actually sells it dictates the price, not we. So if he sells it successfully for that, we get that information as well, and he can use it for the next sales. So yes, if they grow, the prices will increase. But I understand what you're saying. Since we started trying to get transparency in the market, this is always a challenge. People are careful because we're talking in the end, it's investment. It's like bankers, right? If you invest like 10,000 euros or 500,000 euros, that's a lot of money for each of the persons doing it. So you don't want to get your data distributed, right? So yeah, I get your question, but we have the tech supporting the secondary market, and it makes it much easier to actually do secondary sales, especially over wide distances. If you know the person, then it works. But how do you sell to somebody in Mexico City just because you know his name? That's probably not ideal. So with that service, what I said, we also will have this escrow service embedded. I just said logistics, but it's the escrow services embedded there as well. So you can make sure that you can do international business, not only with your local partner, but also with the one in the other cities. Is it somehow answered?
I think what you're referring to also is that there's a desire for intransparency in this market,
okay.
Especially on a local level, if I understood you correctly. Yeah.
I think on the buyer side, there's stronger desire, but I think the seller doesn't want it.
Doesn't want to. Yeah.
I mean, we will not capture everybody for sure, but there's a tremendous
But we are
market.
sure that the pressure will increase with the people using it. I mean, but yes, if you don't share it, it's fine. But this also bears the risk that you will actually maybe not making the sales. But that's a trust business, and it will remain like that. It's art is sold since 1,000 years, right? Don't worry. I mean, it will remain a private market. But there is 80% of artwork sold on right now are from living artists, not from the ones which we trade hard for tough money. So they also want to have some platform. And this is getting more and more difficult for new artists selling their art. And this is what this is for. It's also for galleries, but of course, it's an opportunity for general creators. But I get your point.
You know the scandal with the Freeport in Geneva, you guys know the scandal, right? The owner of the Freeport in Geneva, how much he was making he had a storage, but he was buying for this Russian billionaire.
Oh, yeah. There's also a story in Berlin. I mean, actually, we know quite some stories because that's actually where we come from.
So the big money
right.
in the art market are made that way.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to know like how much the
Yeah, but you know, if people don't want to share and they're selling you the wrong stuff, then they have a good reason not sharing it. I'm not concerned about those. We talk about those who are really.
I'll tell you,
big
they
in
will
business.
still go on Mosaix and see what's out there.
Oh, probably they will. Yeah, check out what's the best price, right? But then they should do it with our fingerprint. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, congratulations for this idea because I think it's super interesting. And I think that can open many doors for many artists to sell the opera, to present this opera. But I would like to know how it's possible to preserve the authenticity of this opera. You know, if I buy something in another country for somebody else, Mosaix can give me some guarantee about this opera?
Okay.
There are some.
Got it. Yeah. So this is the basic use case of art. That's why we didn't explain so much about that part. Sorry for that, because we didn't want to repeat our old business, but which is actually not old. Sorry. Okay, it's the one which we're doing since the beginning. So what we do is we do actually with a smartphone you can register an artwork. The point is that based on our technology we can verify by 100% whether it's the same or it's just a look-alike, right? So we can differentiate counterfeits from original. On top of that, we protect the whole provenance of an artwork. Whatever happens transaction-wise, we track that, and it's part of the art. It's not just like a separate piece of paper. And because of the match of the physical content and the digital content, you have a proof that this provenance belongs to that physical art. So then the next step is you need to make sure who is actually doing that authentication, this registration. So ideally, as you pointed out as well, it's the artist, right? Because that's person number one who knows I did it. It's not necessarily the artist doing it, because everybody can do it. If you have a provenance which is convincing at the time when you do it, it stays convincing. If it's a non-convincing provenance, we cannot change that, right? We cannot make a unclear origin Picasso to an originated Picasso. No way to do that, right? Because the provenance doesn't do it. But we can preserve the state of that moment when it's scanned. So yes, it works, like for secondary market or later on security. But yeah, if an artist does it, it's ideal, right? That's why we're trying also to make sure that artists are doing it, even later on. You don't need to do it like when you create it. You can do it even later.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Somebody else?
We got one more here, the lady right in front of you.
Actually, it's relating to the previous question. And we talked about trust, and we saw a lot of Gen AI and fakes. So actually, you know, how do you prevent fakes coming in and, you know, people just pretending to have some art which they don't?
Right.
I mean, it's opening a door.
Yeah, it does. It does. Actually, it's good. It's like, oh, we could talk for that now for an hour. So to make it simple, we prevent it by, we know, first of all, who's doing a fingerprint, right? It's not like somebody, he needs to register, we know his ID card, we know, first of all, we know the person. Secondly, he needs to have the physical art, and that's what he's scanning. And you, as a user, later on, can rescan it anytime and check, hey, that's the one. So we can make sure that the one receiving it can double check if it's the one which I saw when I went to the gallery, even physically. So you don't need to go on Mosaix to do that nowadays, right? You can go into gallery, buy it, you get the fingerprint, and then you go at home and say, hey, by the way, is it the one which I saw? And then like, oh yeah, it is. You could do it. I mean, most of the people trust their gallerists. However, you could actually do that. So yes, that's how we basically protecting it. It's like in banking, right? You need to register, then we know it, and if you're trustful, then you will get a bank account.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You should put it right in there so that you know that you keep people from doing fakes.
So Mosaix has both platforms embedded, right? There's the simple one. I'm the artist. I upload my video. However, if I want to do a fingerprint, then I need to know the artist in person, I mean, with his ID.
I think the key idea here is also, if you now have both parties on the platform and you as a buyer, you say, do you have the fingerprint done? And then that goes back to the business model, and the artist says no. You said, well, I'm only going to buy it if I have the actually nanoparticle fingerprint structure done. Now we create a demand which pushes the need to do the fingerprint to the actual origin, which is the artist. Right? So that's the idea of how we create demand towards getting the artists. That's why we have to bring them together first, create demand on the platform, and then that demand requires authenticity, which puts the pressure on the artist in a positive way. And that's on both sides. Now you have two ways of, and maybe the buyer can say, I'm going to pay for it, right? I'm going to pay for you to do your KYC process, which is know your customer, which is a process where you have to put it on your identity and everything. Or the artist says he'll already do it, right? But if the transaction for the artist gets bigger and it increases because he's now doing digital fingerprint authentication, now the artist will also pay for that, which is another business model for us.
Right. And it will basically, once you have the transaction handshake, you will, as a buyer, if the artist enables it, you can actually just pick it. Then you pay a little bit more, and then you get the fingerprint automatically together with the artwork, which is perfect for value preservation for the future, because from that point on, it's how you call it? It's too much English now. It's seamless. It's a seamless protection of the whole history of the artwork. From that moment on, you started it. So it's a good investment. And we're not talking about hundreds of dollars. It's really a couple of bucks.
Okay, we're going to do... Can I see how many questions are there? One more? Okay, one, that's it. And then we're going to do bubbles and
Are you
food.
going to implement some kind of advertising system in this application? So for artists...
Are we implementing an advertising system?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, but it's not an advertisement as we know it. Oh, there is a watch or there is a luxury car. What we will do is we will give artists tools to be seen easier, right? We talked about that supportive AI stuff, right? So what actually will make your good presentation? So how do I present my art well? So there are some packages, but it's not like advertisement packages, and there is, of course, advertisement. Let's say we have a lot of galleries who want to be pushed in, and then, you know, how much time do I have as a user? We learned 1.7 to 3 seconds on classic platforms. Let's say he has 5 seconds with us. We make sure that within a short period of time, the artist will be seen who is actually pushing himself a little bit. That means not like in front of everybody else, but if there's a choice, he will be also seen. And also, there is one element you shouldn't forget, which you are all used to, is I browse anything on any browser or social media platform. Suddenly I see something I've never seen before. This is actually paid content. They just push it to you. Is it something interesting for you? And this is exactly what we probably will do. And the funny thing here is, this is what we want in art. We want to be surprised about some new stuff. But we make sure it's not like something you are not interested in. That's why we're using curated AI. We're not just pushing something you don't want to see. It always needs to fit to what you actually like. And what fits to the other artworks, which you're looking right now, curated one.
So basically, it would have like similar algorithm like Instagram or something. So
Not at all.
I would put like I'm doing pop art, I'm a new artist, and I want to be on the top of the list.
No.
And I want to sell my...
No, it's not like that. That's why I just said. You need to fit to the person. You know, the idea is that you have curated content, not just actual content. And that's a big difference on social media, right? They just push the actual content, which looks what you like to have. But if you have a lot of people, a lot of artists, and a lot of people looking at it, you don't fit to it. You will not get it. It really works only, you will be matched when it fits to the user. We don't want to jeopardize our system from the beginning on with showing you something you're not interested in. That's not the promise of curated art. For this, we wouldn't have needed Gemini too much.
Okay, feel you. Thanks.
You will be surprised.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming today. It was lovely to see all your faces. You all look amazing. I literally came from the United States and I came to Zurich. I spent some time here in the past, and your style is fabulous. I really absolutely love it. You guys look wonderful. We hope to see you all outside. Thank you very much, Kai, for this amazing presentation.
Thank you, Kelly, for the nice moderation. Wonderful job.
And have fun. Enjoy the exhibition. Ask questions.
Right. We have some art outside, as you
want.
already seen. We have NFTs. 2 CryptoPunks are there, and we have food.
Food and bubbles.
And wine and beer.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you for being here.